Good afternoon, Raphael 7286. Isn't it pretty easy that when you come on and do a YouTube that any question somebody asks you about whatever, you can just do 5 minutes of video of asking and returning the question asked. And that's pretty, I think, easy because you're not really looking to, you can't really make any mistakes. So that's what I try to do myself. I want there to be a way that I can do this that there are no mistakes. Well, that would be the worst thing for me, of course, because these videos that like 99% of them I don't write. I write a few notes down, but nothing too close to whatever I say. And 80% of what I say is what I remember in the past of my mind, almost like a history, like I've lived it before. I've said it so often and repeat it. Anyways, what I'm going to get to with the first thought is this. Listen to this. You come home, it's Thursday, you pick up a $550 check, clear in the bank. The first thing you really have to do, because God is money, if you think it's not, well, it is money. In its territory, God is the ruler of all. Money is the God. We made it the God because all I think about is, oh my God, I got 550. I spent 180 on this and 120 on this, spent 60 on this and 40 on this. I bought cigarettes for the week and pot for the week, and 100 went away just like that. Don't forget about your taxes and street payments. Street payments, yeah, because you have to clean up around the house, right? Everybody has to keep the street clean in all actuality. And then somebody comes up to you, you got a $500 check. How come you can't live? Well, I didn't stop smoking, and I still smoke pot, and I put gas in my car, and I still eat. So I'm not sure which one of these I should cut, because I definitely rather probably have my little pot on me than actually eat. Because when I smoke, I'm in another world anyways, and sometimes I really don't want to eat. And having juice or orange juice for me is just enough. So I feel like I always owe everybody else the answer of where my last penny went. Put it in this situation. Thursday was 2 days ago. It's Friday today. I'm already out 40%. And I got 5 more days to go. So it makes you fucked in the mind because I don't need anything really and truthfully other than the rest of the pot and cigarettes up till next Thursday. I did my grocery or most of my grocery for 3 days. So I only need one more 3-day grocery. But what happens if something happens? Got to bring my computer in. It broke. I don't know how to fix it. $60. Of course, $60. It could be a little less, and sometimes it's a little more. When you drive fast, it takes a little more gas. When you drive just in between, it takes a little less gas. So when you always find the in between, okay, you're always profiting in some way. Which brings me to something I wasn't going to mention yet, which was this. One spirit, World War I. Two spirit, World War I. One spirit, God, versus the one spirit God, because it's man against man. But this World War III is not World War I, nor is it World War II. Beta and the people, Beta fights against this one, ends up in here because they're both of this. But in this situation, okay, the exterior, okay, on your telephone, okay, or roulette, 16, 19, 17, 20, 18, 21, 35, 37, 39, totaling 111. 35, 37, 39, totaling 111. 11 times 11 is 121 because you have to add 10 for the commencement of the first 9 digits of roulette. 10, everything starts at 10. Plus or minus, right? Start at 10 plus or minus, so that's why the 10 is sometimes really actually like 0 going up to 9 instead of 0 going to 9 down. So anyways, we're going to get back to this over here. This is the man in the middle. This is the center. This is what everybody's fighting for. They want the center, what is in between both of them. And what is that? You are at the center because you take up what this side wants. the center, then if this side takes up the center, you must fight the center because you want the center, because the center is the freedom between the two walls of the spirit and creation of the gods. One, one, and one. And we all know the one dice, the one card, the two card, and the three card are the only three cards that have only center values to it, okay, and fit into every other card to create connecting worlds. Not only that, they do not have any corners because they are the corners. They are the backbone, the pillars, whatever you want to call it. So what happens, it's pretty simple. So when this ends, right, and somebody wins, regardless of who wins, good or evil, it makes no difference. The answer is what they get. And what they get is the center, which is the freedom. And how do we know the freedom is the center? Because right after you get this, the next number in Roman numerals is this, one spirit of life. That's why it's a V. V in French means life. That's why they use this. The upper row and the lower row is the value lines of what is in between. Mother and father, you got the soul beneath your feet, and you got the spirit in the air. If you take a look at the 1V, it's no longer a 1V. It's now a TV. Transmission, life. Life and the life of the spirit. Okay, and that's why they change in Roman numerals from 1, 2, 3, and then over to this section over here, because in this section it's creating, and in this section it's the passage of life. So what does both sides win over here? They win the center, the V. They win the life and liberty of the earth, turning this earth into their liberty of what their factuals are in their Bible of whoever it is on the side they are, evil or good. Is there another side? No, there's no other side. Because in between is not a side. Right? In between is not a side. One of the sides won. But in between is not a side. Because once one of the sides wins, it's liberty to both of them. Why? Because if the good wins, they run the land the way the libertarian should run under their Declaration of Independence, and the evil under their Declaration of Independence, they run it the way they want. Okay, so what else do we got here? Oh yes, okay, there's so many things. The people have been asking me, oh, I'm such a liar. Oh fuck, what bullshit, eh? No one's ever fucking asked me anything. Sorry to swear. Okay, but the Gimel, if you want to see what the Gimel does, the Gimel is just a weird letter. It turns into other letters because once something turns or has a curvature in it, it has an added meaning to it. And one of the things for the Gimel over here, which is over down here, okay, is that this thing over here, if you redesign the whole thing, this becomes a water spout on one side, a water spout on the other side. What is this spade above it? Well, if you hook jack it in here and hook jack it in here, you can lift it off the ground, or you turn it upside down. Okay, over here we would be a line that goes right through here. This and this hook on here and here, and then it's like a I can actually say it sort of balances off inside your mind. It brings everything sort of to a wave in consistency with each other. Just to say that, have you ever seen the wave come in and the other wave is going out? They hit each other, they bang, and it makes all kinds of bubbles. Well, it's basically the same thing. And everybody is right. All those scientists and the guys in the church and everybody says, how was life created? And they all came up with the ideas. They're all right. They're all right. Maybe it's not exact, but they're all right. Because yes, there were many ways of expression in what is that we see in our daily life, like the ocean, like cars and gasoline, whatever it is, the chemtrails, it all has to do with the trail leading back to God. And the chemtrail is the biggest, one of the biggest assets, I think, because somehow, and I know I'm off track and onto a different side now, but somehow I believe, and I said this for years, and I brought it up in one of my first videos, and they call it the skin. It's a flesh. A flesh is an arrow. A flesh, also in French, is a skin. Okay, what it means is there's an outer liner, okay, which is stuck, like stuck and painted on your ceiling, far, far and beyond that you can see, okay, and it's all blue. And what it does is it distorts the actual truth of the universe. And what you have to understand is we turn round, but we're actually seeing square and pointed because we're looking at one thing, so it brings everything to a point, okay, as the earth turns, okay. The second thing, everything is curved, or most things in the universe, not everything, but in this universe it is because the earth is visioned as round, so therefore it has to be visioned as curved. So as we vision the earth, the bubble pushes out, okay, and when you see, you're always going to be seen on this angle or this angle or this angle, just like you know, when you have babies in your car, not really because you have the babies in the car, but when you look out the back and you don't want anybody to look in, you can see out, but they can't see in because of the different levels and angles. Well, it's basically the same thing, you know. Yeah, God is amazing. But we're going to get back to what now? Now we're going to get back to World War III. Now, don't forget, if we're fighting from the east to west, we're fighting from the up to down too, because we're now including the angel world in World War III, which is all about this: the upper heaven and the lower heaven, the north god and the south god. They're now coming together to fight. There is some kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, devilish thing where there is an evil, but he's not a god, but he's just a god because he's the proprietor of the top of the evil. And we have our God creator who is the proprietor of the top, whoever thinks he is the top. Some may be religious and not think that God is the top. I don't know how they do it, unless they have a new definition for the word God. You see, if you change the definition of everything, okay, what was wrong can now be right. What was right can now be wrong. So that's why they made white out for the pens, because every time I write and I'm wrong, I have to white it out. Like the Holy Ghost. What was under there? I wrote it. I can no longer see it. But if you dig deep enough, you'll find it. Our minds are sort of like that. It's like a blanket, okay? We have to dig and look deep under the covers to understand and vision, okay, the connection of the reality of the creation and how the one spirit comes into this world, chemtrails. It's all electronics. The way, I mean, come on, guys. And even you young guys out there, forget about the old people. Kids, don't you know how your telephone works? Go check it out. Go look at all those lamp posts around here. If you don't have those lamp posts, nothing works. And when the new wave comes in of 2012 that they're calling for, which seems like highly impossible, but if it does come in, it will shift the position of all those posts and our communication will drop. Now, the little secret beneath and below is that, guess what? Science can come out and say the earth has shifted, and they'll start purposely causing, I don't hear you, hello, hello, I don't hear you, and all of a sudden communication is out, but not all over the place. Somehow, thank God for the government, they got online to send us a message all, not to worry. They tell us everything that's going on. We see nothing else that's going on in the world. We'll have trucks coming into your area, bringing you food. For those who no longer want to live in their homes and rather live on site, you are protected by the FEMA camps. Do not worry for the big boxes outside. 7 feet by 3 feet boxes that everybody's saying prepared for human beings to be inside, when in all actuality, they're gardening plant pots. They need it to grow their own food within the prison so they can feed themselves, so they have one less worry. Give them something to do. Take their mind off of it. You know what I'm saying? Sure, eventually, I mean, what do you want to do? New World Order wants to knock the population to 500 million. What do? Keep the ones you can sleep with? The whores? The ones that were forced to be whores out in the Asian world? Okay? And you get rid of everybody else, or do you get rid of everybody else? But wait a second. You already have part of the Asian world being overruled, okay? You got part of the Asian world being overruled and you're not touching them. You're letting them do what they want. Even if they're doing wrong, they got no nuclear bomb. But wait a second. One of the Asian worlds, which are taking advantage highly over people, do not have the nuclear H-bomb. But oh my God, under the new definition of law in the new world of Christ, they do have the H-bomb. The control of the people means control of the heaven. So these people are already controlling the heaven. Now here comes a funny story. We have, apparently, Iran is going to be invaded. Whether it's by Israel or the U.S., it's irrelevant. Who's in Syria? What's going on? What happened in Libya? So the Russians come out, occupy the sea, and the only two really that are opposed to the U.S. really are China, I think it is, I'm guessing, and Russia. But isn't it part of China or part of the Asian worlds that's with Russia that are actually taking away all the libertarian rights of the people? So how can Russia go with this place if the Middle East, I think the one Zionists or whatever you want to call it, and the American or North America or whoever that is, UN, want to go in and take over also? So how does Russia jump to China? Because obviously if Russia is going to cure the New World Order, that would mean nullifying anything that's going on in Asia. Any of those people that are being taken advantage of that are getting 10 cents an hour or whatever it is and they can't live and they're using them sexually, it's like going against the grain. So there's something a little mixed up, because can you have two parts of Asia now dividing apart? Because one part takes the Russian side and the other part takes the Israeli and the US side, because they already have their own inside Cuba, if you want to call it, inside one of the states in China. I hope you understood what I said. The other thing I want to say is something I otherwise wrote was, I have a book here, Who Is This Jesus? I bought it. For what reason, I do not know. It seems like it's got to be about 1995, 10 years before I ever thought of anything. One of the reasons I thought I bought it for is because I was scared of death all my life. So I bought this book and I figure maybe I can read it and figure something out. But it's hard to figure out anything while you're reading a book unless you put your mind into, okay, I need to understand the conception, the concept. Very important for the mind to understand the concept. You see, you have to understand the concept of your mind, okay? It's out there and there's a connection. They're just waiting for you to bind it together. Anyways, when I first got this book, I wrote nothing in it. And when I got sick 10 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, this is everything that came out of the book. And in the first side, it says Zurin, in which could mean Zurich and the Queen, which could mean Germany and England, First World War. And it says over here, I'm just going to be repeating, don't look for anything great to come out of this. These are only words of a sick man. The only reason he's sick is because he doesn't know what he was writing up until 7 years later when he is still sick. But he's not sick anymore because he understands the definitions of everything he does. You see, somebody walks into the room of a schizophrenic and go, why'd you mark this? The guy will go, well, the aliens from outer space will start to tell him. He's not a sick man. Of course he is. You can't tell him about the aliens. You got to bring it up softly. Give it softly. Okay. HUMMM. To the dust we cometh, to the dust my children, let it be the trust inside the worth of our earth, of the trust of the dust within that lies, that groweth the mind, the dust of the earth. Then it says the perfect on, this is just I'm just reading you some stuff. I need to get it out here because it's written down in the book. Once I get it out here, I can throw the book away, take out the diskette, and I got it down, right? Thus perfect on finding and trying of binding cometh upon the unbalance of all, upon all of what is to understand, of what all to is all. All is a definition of what? What does the word mean? La, to all is all. Because all is the angel life of life. L'chaim, it is all. To define the balance of all, okay. This is the way the terminology of what the Jews saw. But it's not always the Jews. It's the orange Jews, it's the apple Jews, it's the pineapple Jews, and it's the grapefruit Jews. Look up these Jews and find out what these juices have in common. Because not all juices say juice, they say drink. Delta Angel Resident. Don't you know D and R, drink, the first two letters, 4 and 18 equals 22 in the alphabet, which is 2 and 2, which 4. It comes back to being delta, which is a corner of connection on your telephone next to the 5, below the 1, above the 7. On one angle to the 2, on the bottom north angle to the west is actually the 8 to 4. They all have exact meanings to it. So now that I forgot what I was going to say next, I'm going to have to rehash this whole thing. Yes, I think I got it. Something about DNR. Oh, that's pretty funny. Hey, honey! Yeah, there's a doctor in the house. Oh, what's a DRS? Because we know we're in the female world. Doctor is a D, Doctor R. But doctors, the female, not a plural, is the spirit part of this world. DAR, Delta Angel Resident of Spirit. DRS. R sounds like AR. Put a D in front of it, and the D has an E after it, because when the sound of the D comes out, it's DE. So you have DE and R for AR, so you have a dare. And now you're ready for the DR and the drink of life. INK. The ink, the dot mark, the fingerprints we take in life, the way life is, we are always marked up. So we now have the ink. So we all know if we take the Holy Ghost and the red blood, we get the pink. Pink always is related to the pig. And if you want to know what a pig is all about, he's got those 2 noses, and this is what the pig's all about. But the pig, okay, the one spirit of who man is, has to get here. Who man is, human, Chinese words, Chinese name, human what? Here's the pig right here. You know what this is? Go check out the underneath of your female cat. She's got 6 tits all set up like this. And the only thing that's in between you don't see is her heart pumping all the milk from within her stomach. Where are we going next with this? To the bottom of everything. The reason. We've been waiting a long time to understand this. This is part of the reason of pi. Okay. World War III, without the line, as I showed you up over here. World War III is over here. Here's the dotted line on a 2-way road. Here's the side parts. Turn it any way you want. There's many things you can see. You can even turn it into a C, and then you can turn it upside down. This way you can turn it into 2 T's, which means 40, but forget it. The in-between of the pi, okay, is the answer. There is no right and wrong. You go this way on pi and this way on pi, and you got to go in between to give yourself your own definition, and from there you can create your own pi. But what pi is all about is what's happening in World War III. Okay, the part that's missing in pi is part of the definition of what the truth of the entire reason that we are here. And God gave us 1,000 reasons for us to be here. Now, I didn't say that right that you can understand it. It seems like Mishka Bibble, almost like telling you how much coffee I drank this morning, but after this I'm going to get one. Okay, so what this is over here in pi, I'm going to read it down. It says pi, the final conclusion, the never-ending sequence, because the sequence, okay, works almost like this. You go to the races. There's a horse number 5. That's 4 to 1. But to get to 4 to 1, he had to have $87 bet on him. But to have $87 bet on him, and he's 4 to 1 with the track taking 16%, the rest of the horses have to have $218 wagered on, and that's the only way to get to that number. You understand? Things are in between. Anyways, what I'm going to try and say is this, is that God is 3 creation. So he takes that number 3 in pi, dot, and he goes forward this way, and he explains continuously how he creates. And the reason it doesn't repeat is because certain areas have different versions, a different number count within, different things are done, saying like when you do 1, you can't do 3, and when you do 9, you can't do 2. 9 is actually an explanation. It's a card showing you how the blueprints of the world is the number 9, and then the number 3 is the creation of the elevators inside, or the columns that'll be put up, and then pi goes into another area. And what I think or believe about pi is that the first 4 numbers actually usually putting another dot and saying actually 3.141.5. And the reason you'd go 1 for 1, I got to write this down, I just figured this out, 3.141.5. And the reason you go 3 for 1.5, and I got to write it out again, and the reason you have this is because of this. 3 creation, okay, of the N, which is the pass, which is the O. N-O-C. Knock, knock. Who's there? Creation. Creation who? Creation of spirit. Angel. Angel of 1. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to show it to you a different way. Creation, 1 for 1. This 1 for 1 is actually the M letter in exchanging, as I showed you, Roman numerals, the changing the 1 for the 1. You're a 4 angle, and the 6 man, basically what that 1 for 1 is. Now, 5 is who you are. I told you yesterday. Man is 5. 20.5 is man number. Blackjack is 21, while man is 20.5. Because he never leaves his mother, and he's not actually alive in the heavens. He's alive here. He's alive in the heavens. He's surviving in the heavens, or he's surviving here, but his mind is really up there. So you have 3 creation of the 1 for 1 of man 5, and I've showed you before in other what's it called, this and this is the E, and this is the C, creation of E. C, number 3, earth. E, the letter E for earth. 1 for 1 exchange, 1 angle for 1 avatar, avatar 5. There's a few other things. I'm gonna, what is it, 27 minutes already? Oh boy. The reason for the Olympic signs, I didn't finish yet. You remember when I showed you that 1, 2, 3? Remember I showed you the 1, 2, 3? Well, if you look at the 4 card, the 5 card, the 6 card, the 7 card, the 8 card, and the 9 card, let's leave out the 10 for now. They all have 4 corners on it. They all have 4 corners on it. But, okay, only the 1 card, the 2 card, the 3 card, the 5 card, and what other card? The 9 card. The 7 card, the 8 card do not have the center spirit of 1. It is the 1 vert center spirit that connects the 9 down to the 8 card, because the 8 spirit is right here, 1 here and 1 here on the 8 card. Anyways, something like that, sort of like a diamond. Diamonds are forever. Coal burns in hell. Oh, there's so much more. Oh, there was more in this book here. There's more in this book. No, I'm going to go on to take a little bit more of this book. I can probably make 10 videos and divide these all up, because I'm quite sure people rather watch 5-minute videos than 30-minute videos. Only preach what you know, per etere pround per kelken dotes. So thus, if you do not want to take for another, only say what you know is truth of all, but do not say what others do not want to hear. Now, why is the question for that? Do not say what others do not want to hear, because it'll cause a rebellion. True or false? This is what I wrote here, May 6, 2005, in the year 2005. The last days of Passover, I passed over and I visited in the soul of my spirit worlds. Now let me see what else I have in here. I'm going to read you a couple of them, maybe boring. Knowledge. Pour voir mieux sans oublier l'autre, porte la balance à l'autre côté. It says, for those who know better, without any borders, those know better. Oh boy, it's easier in French and English. Churches, find the balance, rid of the viruses, find the truth. We must jump over. Seems like everything I'm writing, reading in here is there's something happening, and this is 7 years ago. The final days are coming. When? Wait, I hear the echo. The value of the echo is the jingle, jingle, jingle in the pockets. When the money starts to talk, the man starts to think as his mind starts to walk. This is what's coming in time. This is all 7 years ago. This is all set. Whoop, I found something else. Boy. Here's a question. Was Satan cast? Now, I never read anything yet. Was Satan cast to earth, or did he occupy a piece of the sky and put the satanic knowledge into the too creative, corrupted world just so that the people, could understand and know what the truth and value of life is? Thus, never having a Satan in this world is to never know the other side. Raphael 7286. Be well.